What is up, you gorgeous and beautiful gamers? Welcome back to RPJames. This is Mary Alcana in the internet where we like to discuss about RPGs. So, builds in Outward. I have lately been making a whole lot of guides on Outward to be able to help people to understand the game a little bit better. And this build that I have right here, it's a very beginner friendly build. It's not going to take you through the endgame bosses, I have to be honest with you, but likely not every build that you make, it's not going to take you through anything or everything in this game. When you get to the end game, you actually have to be switching stuff to be able to fight those end game enemies. But for the main campaign, the main world exploration, this build is going to carry you easily without any kind of issues or problems. Another good thing about the build is that it's very versatile, and when I say beginner friendly is that you will be able to explore the world with this thing and not be minding that much about stuff or hazards or just overall the whole setbacks that Outward places upon you. So that being said, let us speak about the weapon first. It's a good side, it's a bad side, but it's a frost weapon. Brand is one of my favorite games, and if you so decide to, if you so want to, you can get this very early in the game. To get this thing, you need three things. You need to travel to Monsoon and go to the Alchemist, if I'm not mistaken. I will also have a video on the screen right now, so you know how to get it, where to buy it from, but it's on Monsoon. You need another item from Levant, and I believe it's a... I not remember if it's a phylactery of some sorts, but again, you will have it on the screen right now. And also you need a hammer. The hammer, you will get it from Berg. And then once you have gotten all of the ingredients for the weapon, head over to the Conflux Mountain, to the very top of the mountain, and there you find a rusted sword. Once you manage to get them all you have to do is to combine all of those ingredients, and then you will be good to go. You will have your brand. It has 20 physical damage, it has 20 freezing damage, cold damage, but also inflicts chill and pain on enemies. Pain is going to, well, increasing the frost and physical damage they take. So, on top of inflicting the pain and cold damage that they are going to be inflicted with the enemies, you will also be increasing natively with stuff from the build your base damage, your base physical damage, and your base cold damage. So the damage you can achieve with this thing, it's actually skyrocketed. If you're fighting against cold resisting enemies, that's one of the downsides of the build, but it's still going to be enough damage for you to get rid of them without having to worry that much. And then we have the rest of the gear. You need a shield for this build, although any kind of shield that you find out there, it's going to be amazing, it's going to be good. You don't necessarily need the one that I have, just get out there and find the best shield that you can possibly have. I do not have or want anything specific for this kind of build. The armor though, this is the trickiest part. There are two kind of armor sets that you can use with this build. The Virgin armor set, which you can buy from this specific merchant on the Sword of Warriors DLC. And this specific armor set, this guy is going to have it. He's always going to have it, as you can see right here. We have the helmet, we have the chest piece, and we have the boots. You are going to need to enchant it. I'll have a guide on farming instances because it is a kind of a pain in the ass to farm instances. But all you have to know is that you are placing cold bonus damages on the armor to be able to increase our base damage, which as you can see right here, it changes from 20 to 27 cold damage. But it's also going to decrease our resistances to lightning damage. So yeah, I have to say that this is not a very, very viable way to do it, because you're likely going to be doo-doo against fighting, if you're fighting against lightning enemies, lightning inflicting enemies. So there's that. But if you actually want a better choice, I do not have it right here with me because I chose a different faction questline, the Crimson Armor. If you join the Blue Chamber Collective and you follow the quest lines, they are going to give you a specific armor, which is going to be the Crimson Armor. It's one of my favorite armors in the game because it's like the one that I like to use with this build, with Brand, or Cold Weapons, because it natively increases your frost damage, and I believe that it does even like 5% more than the one that I have right now with this kind of enchanting. Right now I have 15, 10, 15, and 10, which is roughly 35. I believe that the Crimson Armor is going to give you 40%, 42% of cold damage, extra cold damage. Like I said, I also like to wear the Virgin Armor because it glows, dude. I mean, it's shiny. It's a shiny armor. As for the backpack, I normally like to use the Scale Satchel, but once you get to the Thorborian's DLC, you can use 3 Busu heights and upgrade it to the next upgraded version of the backpack, which is this one right here. It only gives you like 15 more capacity and corruption resistances, which is nice as well. I mean, corruption resistance in this game, it's actually a game changer. So the passive skills, this is where it gets interesting, because, like I said, I made this build specifically to focus ourselves on efficiency and exploration. There are some things that you can tweak with this build, there are some different paths that you can take with this build, but I chose these specific ones to have as much stamina possible, to have as much health possible, to be able to use everything that we are going to be using with this build, to be able to stay as much time as possible out there, exploring the world. Like I said, there are some things that you can change in here to be able to deal more damage, but right now I want to focus myself on exploration, and exploration efficiency, of course. So you get the armor training from the mercenary on Levant. This is a passive skill, decreases the stamina and movement penalties from wearing armor by 50%. As you can see right here, we are indeed wearing heavy armor, and since we are indeed wearing heavy armor, we actually need that penalties decrease by 50%. Fast maintenance, this is not as hugely important, but I mean, repair your equipment 50% faster when you allocate time to repairing on the rest menu. It's a nice bonus, but it's not one of the biggest ones, so you don't actually need this one. If you wanted to, it's still in the mercenary tree line. The marathoneer, on the other hand, sprinting consumes 40% less stamina. Yes, my boy, you are going to be running around like a maniac out there in the world, alongside with swift foot. Your movement speed is increased by 10%. All of these 4, you will get it from Levant, the mercenary trainer on Levant. And then we have fitness, which increases your maximum health by 25 and the amount of health you restore while sleeping by 20%, which is amazing. The more health that we can have, the more stamina that we can have, it's amazing. This comes from the spell blade at CSO. Also this one, maximum health, stamina and mana by 15 each. Like I said, the later skills from the CSO category, the Spellblade, are amazing. They are not amazing, but being able to have more health, stamina, and mana, it's a game changer. Trust me, it is. This is not that important. This is kind of important. You can get this from the Hermit at Kernanis on the Hermit Tower. It's nice to have, but it's not mandatory. The one that is mandatory is slow metabolism. You will get this from the monk warrior trainer at Moonsoon. It takes more time for you to become hungry, thirsty, and sleepy. Remember that I told you that we want to be efficient exploring out there in the world? If you pair this up with Steadfast Aesthetic, which increases your maximum stamina, also from the Monk Warrior Trainer at Monsoon, and then Efficiency, max stamina increased by 25. This is from the Speedster, right here on the Soroborians DLC. You can find that guy if you follow all of that place over there. It's going to be somewhere up there. But as you can see, if we combine all of those specific passive skills that we have right here, it's going to allow us to explore like a maniac and to not get interrupted while exploring. Everything consumes stamina in this game. Imagine, for example, that you are inside a dungeon, for example, and then you run out of potions, or you use your potions too fast. You thought it was enough with the ones that you had, but it just wasn't. Now you're stuck inside of the dungeon. Take a look at my stamina meter as I run right now. I am wearing arguably medium armor, which should be depleting my stamina like a maniac. I'm also running faster, and as you can see, my stamina, I can keep it like endlessly, and this is amazing for exploring the world. We all know that it's a pain in the ass. Most people they like to use the Master Trader equipment to be able to explore the world, but it leaves you open, you don't actually get any more combat benefits, and we actually do want to have combat benefits. As you can see, it's still not depleted, but also, if you use your stamina potions, it's going to be even better, because as you run, take a look at that. Take a look at my bar. Take a look at that yellow bar. It's not depleting whatsoever. Like, it's not disappearing. This is game changer. With this build, with this kind of setup, you can get inside dungeons and fight endlessly and endlessly and endlessly and explore tirelessly. And you won't actually have to worry about your stamina, you won't actually have to be worrying about setbacks, nor anything else. So, now that we have discussed the exploration side, let's discuss about the combat side. On our first lot, we have, let me see if I can find it, Brace. This comes from the Warrior Monk at Monsoon, as well as Focus. What they do is that both of them give you the Discipline boon, which increases the physical damage of your attacks. If you use it with Focus, you will lose some of your maximum stamina until the next time you sleep. But if you use it with Brace, this thing is going to give you Discipline boon as well, which is going to increase your damage, hugely important, but it's also going to knock back the enemies as soon as you use it. You have to block an enemy's attack with it, but it's an amazing skill because it's an amazing parry skill, and it's also going to give you, again, it's going to reset the, no, this is not the one. I believe that it's this one. Huh. Oh no, yes, restoring your stability. While you block with this thing, it's going to restore your stability, so it's an amazing defensive skill. And then we have, from the very same path, the Warrior Monk, Perfect Strike. When you have your Discipline boon, lunging attack that ignores all defenses and inflicts pain. Pain is going to make the enemy more... it's going to take more damage from your physical attacks. So it is indeed an amazing, hugely amazing skill. And then we have, let me see, what do we have right here? The Cool Boon. You will get the Cool Boon from the Conflux Mountain, the second Keeper, the second Watcher, I believe. And the Cool Boon, it's going to increase your frost damage and frost damage resistance. It's also going to increase your protection to hot weather. Certain skills require this boon to be active, like this one, which is going to be Infuse Frost. Temporarily add frost damage to your melee weapon, and it inflicts slowdown on your enemies, consumes your Cool Boon. Ideally, I don't actually want to use we don't actually want to use this one. This one is going to be swapped. Why is that? Because I want my cool boon to be active, I want my discipline boon to be active, and then I can use an ice banish to increase my frost damage. And as you can see, oh boy, I am always in love with those numbers. When you buff yourself, it's going to give you 83 damage. Remember that Brand is also going to inflict chill and pain on the enemies, increasing the frost and physical damage they take. And the frost damage that you have, oh boy, it is amazing. So, yes, this build hits like a goddamn truck. But also, like I told you before, you hit like a goddamn truck, but also you explore like a goddamn maniac. Like you're wearing steroids, like you were always marijuana, like you will never tire yourself, you deal tremendous amounts of damage, and yes, like you will never get tired of being out there in the world exploring. So what is it? What else do we have? Oh, yes, I forgot. Rage. Rage is going to increase your impact on your weapon. The impact is going to knock back the enemies. You will get rage from the trainer, hunter trainer at Berg on the Amaka forest. And then we have since we have already you have to take one of the tier 2 skills to be able to unlock this one, the one that we talked about before, Spell Blades Awakening. And since we already have that, then you might as well take this other skill, which is one of my favorites. Like, honestly, this has saved my life so many times. When you're fighting against elemental enemies, block an elemental attack. When you next block, it will burst an elemental explosion from you. And the elemental explosion, it's not just a tiny little explosion. You have to parry the elemental attack to be able to infuse your shield. But it's not going to be just a tiny little explosion, like a little explosion that it's going to do like nothing. No, dude, trust me. It's going to hit like a goddamn nuclear bomb. Sometimes it will also increase, it will one-shot enemies, and the enemies of the same element. So yeah, this is basically the setup that we have for the build. Some extra little things that I forgot to mention before we wrap up the video. How to farm. Let me see if I can find it. It should be an alchemy. Yes, here it is. How do we farm ice banishes to be able to increase our damage like a maniac? You need cold stone. There are cold veins out there in the world. You will get them from there, but also on chests. Exploring the world, make sure to open chests, and trust me, these things are going to rain from chests. Live with eye. You can actually gather this from the world. Be sure to be on the lookout. It's going to have that very same icon. It's going to look the very same thing. And also, Gaberry wine. The Gaberry wine, we're going to buy it from chests, like you can see right here. Well, like you can't see right here because that girl doesn't have it. But don't worry, there are chefs all around the world, in every single city, and I believe that this guy should save my video by telling me that he indeed has Gaberry wines. Do ya? Do ya? Yes, you do. As you can see right here, it's not that expensive, and yeah, like you can also farm them, like the ice varnishes on themselves. You will find them in the world. Also, to wrap up the video, some skills that I forgot to tell you where you can find them. Brace, Perfect Strike, and Focus. Those are from the Monk category. You will get it. You will get them on Monsoon. You will learn them from the Monk Warrior at Monsoon. You will get Shield Infusion at Cierso with Spell Blade. And you will get, I already told you where to get Rage. And those are the most important skills. Ideally, those are the only skills that we are going to be using. Like I said, this is a very versatile build. You won't actually have to worry about hunger. You won't actually have to worry about stamina. You won't actually have to be worrying about damage, because the amount of damage that you can make with this build is going to be insane. Like I said, you have to change the armor. I would arguably say that it's better to have the crimson armor, but it's up to you, dude. I will have a guide to how to enchant armors and how to farm instances later on. But that being said, remember that if no one else told you today that you're a gorgeous and beautiful person, you are indeed a gorgeous and beautiful person. Like the video, subscribe to the channel before you close the door. Now to see you got them gorgeous and beautiful people in the next one. Have a beautiful day, and goodbye.